Hari Om.
Hari Om, Nana.
Hari Om, Talli.
Just a second. Does it show live on YouTube?
YouTube live, yeah, it is showing live. YouTube live. And it shows also some green tick mark.
Nana, you can get started, Nana.
Okay. ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यं एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अथ श्रीमद् गीता अथ त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतद्वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव। श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रमिच्य विधीयते एतद्यो वेत्ति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः। क्षेत्रज्ञं चापि मां विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् यद्विकारि यतश्च यत् स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु। ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः महाभूतान्यहङ्कारः बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham sanghataschetana dhrutihi etakshetram samasena savikaramudahutam amanitvamadham vitvam ahimsa kshantirajyavam acharyopasanam shaucham स्थैर्यमात्म विनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् हरते जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यततोऽन्यथा ज्ञेयं यत्तत् प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते अनादिमत्परं ब्रह्म न सत्तन्नासदुच्यते सर्वतः पाणिपादं तत् सर्वतोक्षिशिरोमुखं सर्वतः श्रुतिमल्लोके सर्वमावृच्य तिष्ठति सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् असक्तं सर्वभृच्चैव निर्गुणं गुणभोक्तृ च बहिरन्तश्च भूतानाम् अचरं चरमेव च सूक्ष्मत्वात् तदविज्ञेयं दूरस्थं चान्तिके च तत् अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तमिव च स्थितं भूतभर्तृ च तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रसिष्णु प्रभविष्णु च ज्योतिषामपि तज्ज्योतिः तमसः परमुच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं ज्ञानगम्यं हृदि सर्वस्य विष्ठितम् इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासतः मद्भक्तये तद्विज्ञाय मद्भावायोपपद्यते. I think we'll stop here. We'll get back to verses number 516. Yeah, correct. 5 is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Yes, please.
There is some two doubts are there. One, I don't know whether Percy G is there.
Yes.
He's there, right? Would you like to ask your question, Percy G, about what yesterday you had this thing about people doing Homa for their children getting into IIT? How isn't that taking away the chance for others to get in? If you want to express your question, please do.
In the Karamkan part, it was said, Nanaji, that you do homas for some sankalp you take. And there was some sharing that for the children to get better marks in exams or get, you do a homa for their own children. And I felt that if the child has done well, then why do the homa? He will get into IIT or some institute of merit on his own merit. But if he has not studied well and you do the homa and the sankalp is fructified, then you are depriving somebody else of his seat. Was a little bit of a question in my mind.
Yeah, your assumption and your analysis is okay. Why do the homa? If the child tomorrow is bound to get into a higher educational institution, you can't stop it. And as a parent, you can only promote it. why do the homa and things like that. This is a kamya karma, clean kamya karma. There are people who do that, but those people may not be interested, say, in the tenets of the Gita. Kamatmanaha, Swargaparaha. Here, Kamatmanaha, IIT Paraha. You see,
Uh,
they are interested only in that. And that is the most supreme. And God only knows whether, when after the Homa, granting that the Homa is beneficial to the child and child gets admission, whether the child will acquit himself or herself very nicely. We don't know. These kind of kamya karmas, it's better we do without. Instead, put the child in a good school and good, tutors and things like that. If required, you make available your evening's time for tutoring yourself. Make the child tread the noble paths. It is important to see that the child cuts out a future for himself in the extremely noble way than going through homas and things like that. Yeah.
yes, Manaji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Another question?
I know it might be a little off the thing, but Bhagwan right from the beginning wants Arjuna to be to follow karma yoga.
Mhm.
But why is he also explaining so much about the sannyasis? Isn't that confusing Arjuna? Isn't that why Arjuna in the first place has so many questions? Why did not Bhagwan? I know it doesn't seem very thing, but the question cropped up. So I thought I'll ask you, because even for us as sadhaks, we are knowing, we learn about the karma yoga aspect, and we also learning about sannyasis and their lakshanas. Somewhere uh, mm, there is a little bit of a cusp where there's not much of clarity as to exactly what to follow. So Bhagwan should have just given him karma yoga and not talk about sannyasa, right?
It is not a question of your choice as to what to follow. It's a question of your preparedness as to what you need to follow. What I'm saying is, you can't suddenly decide today that you will take to sannyasa. The point is, are you prepared for that? Are you qualified for that?
Correct.
And Bhagavan, when he's saying karma yoga, it is not just karma yoga. It is not karma anusthana eva. Okay, without attachment, giving up the karma phala and Ishvara anugraham and Ishvara prasada for those things, the karma yoga. That's not limited to that. You have to pursue jnana also. You have to get detached, and you have to go through Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Jnana is important. And Bhagavan went on saying, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram miha vidyate. Tat swayam yoga samshiddha. That is it. Tat swayam, you yourself, yoga samshiddha. Karma yogena samshiddha. When you get the absolute, the preparedness, you will take to sannyasa yourself without your effort, as though you will take to sannyasa. And Arjuna was perhaps a mere pretext for Bhagavan to give the entire Gita Vakyas. It is for the benefit of mankind. You may look at it this way. It is the poet in Bhagavan Vyasa who has thought it fit to include the rudimentary tenets of jnana right through the entire Gita. Jnana Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Yoga, then Sannyasa. And for Jnana, what are all required? These kind of things. Because Arjuna had initially asked, Yat Shreyaha, Nishchitam Bruhitan me, Sishyasteham, Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. And not only that, he said, Guru Nahatvahi Mahanubhavan, Shreyo Bhuktum Bhikshamipi Api Ihaloke. Even Bhikshatana is to be preferred as against killing Gurun. This is what was working in Bhagavan's mind. Arjuna is very keen on sannyasa, but he does not know the pitfalls for a person who is not prepared for sannyasa. If he takes to sannyasa, sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptam ayogataha. With all those things in mind, Bhagavan has deemed it fit not to exclude the talk on jnana, because that is what Arjuna indeed wanted. And Bhagavan's prabodha is you get on to Karma Yoga Anushtana together with jnana. Afterwards, you yourself will realize that you had enough of all this grihastha, and when such an attitude prevails in you, you will yourself take to sannyasa. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Because,
Okay.
yeah, it's a funny question, but it had cropped up.
Okay. So here, Rushibhir Bahuda Gitam Chando Bhir Vividai Prudak Brahma Sutra Padaishcheva Hetu Madbhir Vinishchitaihi. And these are substantiated. That's what Bhagavan is saying. And to increase Arjuna's attentivity, he has as though used these two verses. ऋषिभिर् बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुः मद्भिः विनिश्चितैः. Hetumat, people who are used to taking resort to yukti, logic, etc. All those things, it has been explained. And what is kshetra? Next verse. Yeah. महाभूतानि अहंकारः बुद्धिः अव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं संघातश्चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारमुदाहृतम्. If you people recollect, almost the same thing was said in the 7th chapter in the Jnana Vijnana Yoga. What did Bhagavan say then? In the Jnana Vijnana Yoga, almost the same thing he has mentioned. He has mentioned about two types of Prakriti, Apara Prakriti and Para Prakriti. Apara Prakriti is the Kshetram. Para Prakriti is the Kshetrajnaha. The two verses are what? Bhumirapo analo vayuhu kam mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakrutirashtadha apareyame tastvanyam prakrutim vidhi me param jaiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. This para prakriti is the one which is the jaiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. With this we have covered. And the earlier one is apara prakriti. Not para is apara. That is kshetram. These two have been already covered. Now, Bhagavan is very keen to educate Arjuna in the noble qualities required to understand the kshetra, kshetrajna. That kind of a viveka and vichara, the the analysis of kshetra, what is kshetrajna, and the knowledge of these two will be what is considered jnanam iti mama matihi. That is what Bhagavan said. So to inculcate the noble qualities of people who have been Bhagavan Supriyaha, as though in the 12th chapter, Bhagavan went on saying, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, etc. Samasatrau cha mitrecha tatha manapamanayoho shitaha ushnaha sukhadukkeshu samaha sangha vivarjitaha tulya ninda stutir mauni santushtaha yena kenachit aniketaha. Important. Aniketaha, no dwelling place of his own. Aniketaha stiramatihi bhaktiman yasame priyaha. That person is indeed my love. He is my love. I love him dearly. Saha me priyaha. That means he is indeed I. That's what Bhagavan has said. Now the same thing Bhagavan is saying here, and he is trying to give a host of noble qualities. What are those? And these are required to be prayatnena sampadhyani. With tremendous effort, self-effort, we will have to acquire these. When we acquire these, that is part of the mana parishuddhyatam. For that, for the sake of cleansing the mind, all these things will be very, very strong aids. Amanitvam, adhambitvam, ahimsa, kshantihi, arjavam, acharya upasanam, shaucham, sthiryam, atma vinigraha. We will see what is this now. Yeah. Can you reduce the font size slightly so we can see the entire text? Yes, that's enough. Maybe shift it to the left a little. Amanitvam, left. Yeah. Okay. Atma vinigraha. All right. Amanitvam, absence of conceit. Adhambitvam, absence of hypocrisy. Okay. Ahimsa, harmlessness, non-injury. Kshantihi, accommodation. Then acharya. No, this is arjavam, sorry. Arjavam, straightforwardness. Now, maybe you can reduce the font size a little more so that we can see the entire text in one go. Arjavam, acharya upasanam. Okay. Yeah, that's now shift it to the left slightly. Acharya upasanam. A reverence for the teacher. Thank you. This is very good. Shaucham, cleanliness. Sthiryam, steadfastness. Atma vinigraha, that is self-discipline. That is mastery of the body, mastery of the karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, and the mind all together. Atma vinigraha, absence of conceit, absence of hypocrisy, harmlessness, accommodation, straightforwardness, reverence for the teacher, cleanliness, steadfastness, self-discipline. Now, what is this absence of conceit? What is all this? What is this conceit? When you see the word itself, amanitvam. In Sanskrit, that a is what? Is a kind of a negation. Manitvam is what? Manitvam is a desire to be respected, desire to be honored, desire to be recognized. When these things will crop up in a man's mind, this manitvam, when does it occur? When the person himself is not having the adequate self-respect. He does not have a good self-esteem of himself. So he is doubtful whether he is indeed okay. And that kind of a certification he wants from others. He wants from others who he comes across. So Manitvam, he wants everybody else to kind of respect him, to kind of say good morning to him first before he answers. Right? This self-esteem, if it is poor, then you are craving for self-esteem. Amanitvam is the reverse. Not having any craving for others to regard you, to respect you, to honor you, etc. All these things will come when you are adequate within yourself, when you are okay by yourself. You need not have any other praise from others to be happy by yourself, with yourself. So Amanitvam is indicative of that absence of conceit. Amanitvam, no excessive craving for recognition by others about your greatness, whether it is or not. You may not be great, but you want others to recognize as though you are great. Is it not being conceited? Okay, you are one and you want to be 10, and all others you want them to recognize you as 10. How is it possible? And when that is not forthcoming, you are upset. And who is suffering because of this manitvam? You. So get rid of that. Amanitvam. Be yourself. Be contented. Be a person who has adequate self-respect, self-esteem. I am okay. Okay, I do not have this. I do not know this subject. It's all right. I am not Sarvajnaha like Ishvara. I am trying to be Ishvara. In the process, I'll have to acquire all these good qualities. Amanitvam. Certainly I will. If I don't know everything in the world, that is okay. It is not possible also to know. This is good enough for me, and this is all right for me. I am trying to know the truth about Vedanta. I am trying to know the teachings of Bhagavan Krishna, and Amanitvam happens to be one of them. I shall stick to that. Amanitvam, Adhambitvam, absence of hypocrisy. Absence of hypocrisy means you are so, but you want to advertise yourself as though that you are not just so. You are Indra, Chandra, you are this, you are that, you have done this, you have done that. All this for enhancing your prestige. This is dambhitvam. This dambhitvam, if you are without that, this becomes adhambhitvam, absence of that kind of a hypocrisy. Adhambhitvam. These two kind of go together. Amanitvam, adhambhitvam. These two kind of like twins. One as though is responsible for the other, that kind of a thing. Adhambhitvam, amanit. If adhambhitvam is there, if you don't have the damba, ahankara, that kind of a thing, amanitvam is very easy to acquire. The other way around, amanitvam, if it is there, adhambhitvam will take to flight. So these two are kind of twins. Amanitvam, adhambhitvam, ahimsa. Ahimsa is non-injury. Non-injury of anything you come across, any being you come across, inert or sentient.
Yeah, living.
Yeah, please help me.
Yeah.
Give me some words once in a while. Inert or sentient. Sthavaram Vyangamam Yaptam Etkinchit Characharam. I will not harm. This is the pratigna by a sannyasi when he takes to sannyasa. There is no fear for anybody from me, including the devas, including the Indra, Chandra, all those deities. none of them will I harm. I will not entertain any harmful thought in my mind in respect of anything, anybody, any being. Ahimsa. And this must be manasa, vacha, karmana. You can't be thinking of something in the mind and say something else, vacha, and then do a third thing, karmana. This is against the norms of a person fit for the study of the Gita, ahimsa. This must be next. Next thing is coming, arjavam. Arjavam is straightforwardness. Straightforwardness is what? Manasa, vacha, karmana. The same thing you think, and same thing what you think you say, and what you say you conform to by your action. That is arjavam. And this ahimsa has to take care of that arjavam also. You must ensure that nobody needs fear you, and you shall not injure anybody. You shall not injure anybody by your action. You shall not injure anybody by your speech, your talk. You shall not even injure anybody by your body language. Okay? Body language. And you shall not entertain any inimical thought in your mind, whether the other person knows or not. There is a Sakshi in you. Who is that Sakshi? That Kshetrajna. That Kshetrajna will be watching all these things. So you better conform to Manasa, Vacha, Karmana, non-injury, Ahimsa. Kshantihi. Kshantihi is, this is indicative of your willingness to concede that the other person is perhaps right. So you are highly accommodative. There are instances in our daily life when we come across people with whom you have a situation to kind of cross, keep on debating and say, no, that's not correct, this is correct, etc. At that time, if you give in, if you consider that maybe the other person is right, he is talking like that because he is capable of only that. I grant that. I can't change him, but I can change myself to be accommodative with even the talk coming from the other person. It is all right. Bhagavan says he is in him and in me also. Okay, I'll prostrate to that Bhagavan in that person and I will accommodate. Kshantihi. And if he says something which is very hurting to you, you have the nature of forgiving. You have the nature of forgiving because these are all beneficial qualities in the furtherance of your acquisition of knowledge. Kshantihi. Arjavam. This we have covered. Arjavam. Manasa, vacha, karmana. This is ekavakyataha. You think, you say, and you do. And these three are in alignment totally. That is Arjavam. Acharya Upasanam. And service to the teacher. Reverence for the teacher. Acharya Upasanam. Upasanam is Pujanam. Upasanam is like what? Meditation also is Upasanam. Acharya Upasanam. Why do you have to do that, Acharya Upasanam? Because the Gita Vakyas, by your own self-study, you may not really benefit. Because there may be instances where the Gita Vakyas require clarification, and that clarification is possible through an Acharya only. An Acharya. And that Acharya is to be respected all the time. And if possible, you will have to do service to him. In olden days, at the Gurukula, the Sishyas used to be with the Acharya for about 12 years. And in that time, they used to do everything that is required for the ashram, tending to the cattle in the ashram, and bringing the acharya, the homa dravyas, okay, and taking care of the requirements of the Guru Patni, whatever she would require for conducting the affairs of the ashram, like providing for the various meals of the sishyas and providing for the requisite environment where the sishyas will benefit from acharya's teaching. All these things Guru Patni does, and the service to her in being supportive in that direction is also reverence for the teacher. Shaucham. Shaucham is what? Cleanliness. This Shaucham is Bahya, Abhyantara, Shuchihi. External as well as internal cleanliness. Internal cleanliness will include what all? The entire Antakarana. The Antakarana must be, earlier we have seen Ahimsa, that is part of Antakarana. Kshanti, Antakarana. Amahaditvam, Adhambitvam, Ahimsa, Aryavam, then Acharya Upasanam. All these things are supported by the Antakarana. Good Antakarana will conform to all these things very, very easily. Otherwise, it will be a struggle in life. Shaucham, that includes the internal cleanliness, which is possible through the Antakarana. Then Stairyam, steadfastness, steadfast. You have decided to, quite some months back, I must compliment all of you and congratulate you also. Quite some months back, we have started this Zoom Gita discussions and things like that. And all of you have been regularly attending the Zoom Gita discussion classes. I must really congratulate you, compliment you, and wish that this will continue till the end of your acquisition of the Sampurna Jnanam. For all of us, that you includes I also, Sampurna Jnanam. This is not a small thing. It requires that stairyam. You have decided and you can't give it up in the middle. If you give it up, you are no good. You are like the Rutus. They keep on changing. Grishma Rutu gives way to Varsha Rutu, which gives way to Sharad Rutu, etc. But nothing is constant. When you have your aims and objectives very strong, then this stadium is possible. Stadium, and it's not easy. There are a lot of difficulties you need to face. You have to make a sacrifice of your time, which perhaps is in great demand at this time by others of your family. But in spite of it, if you are here, it must be complemented. Stairyam, Atma Virigraha, self-discipline. If the self-discipline is there only, all the things will emanate from that self-discipline. This is a wonderful thing. Atma Vinigraha. Essentially, it means Manonigraha and Shama Dama. These two, self-discipline, will be propelled by these two, Shama Dama. But the body also must be included in this. Supposing you went to bed today and tomorrow morning you need to get up. Supposing it is just another hour away for the Zoom class and you are feeling slightly sleepy and the body will have to cooperate for you to get up. Is it not? So the body discipline also is included in this. There, neither Shama nor Dama comes. It is a body discipline. You must tell the body, hey, get out of this tamasic attitude. Come on. We will get on to the daily routine. And quickly in another 45 minutes, we'll be ready. Coffee or no coffee, tea or no tea, no breakfast, nothing, that is better, because we can be together and it will be easy for you to digest what is being discussed. Without breakfast, it's much easier. Maybe tea and coffee, okay, what I am saying, this is the way you will be talking to the body. So the body discipline also is included. Atma vinigraha, absence of conceit, absence of hypocrisy, harmlessness, accommodation, straightforwardness, reverence for the teacher, cleanliness, steadfastness, self-discipline. Elsewhere in the Gita also, Bhagavan has talked of all these noble qualities. In the second chapter itself, he talked in a different manner. He has given the Jnani Lakshanas. When Arjuna asked, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya Keshava, Bhagavan's reply was, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan padhamanogatan atmani eva atmana tushtaha. He is happy by himself, with no other external support required. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha chita prajnastadochate. That person is a chita prajna. And all these qualities, the samanitvam, madhambitvam, when these are made our own property by adequate effort, they will lead us to that kind of a jnani lakshanas. Prajahati yada kaman dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspruha vita raga bhaya krodaha. Raga bhaya krodaha vigataha vita. Vita means gone. These are all sublimated. Vita raga bhaya krodaha stitadhihi munihi uchyate. For us to be that, these are the aids. Amanitvam, madhambitvam, all these things. Okay? Now, indriyadheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Anudarshanam is darshanam, all of us know. Okay? Darshanam is seeing, adequately seeing, perceiving with the jnana, your jnana chakrusha. Darshanam. Anudarshanam is what? Anukshana darshanam, anudina darshanam. What is that darshanam? Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. In janma, in mrityu, in jara, in old age, and in disease, vyadhi. Then dukkha, in sorrow. In all these, there is a defect. Dosha anudarshanam. Dosha is defect. That dosha, the defect, is to be seen all the time. Anukshanam. Anukshanam. And with what? With what Bhagavan has already given us. Indriyadheshu vairagyam. What are the indriyadheshu? What are the indriyadheshu? That is, the objects of the sense organs. What are the objects of the sense organs? A wonderful form, that is the object of the sense organ called the eye. A wonderful form, okay, wonderful color, such like a beautiful music, and a comfortable atmosphere. That is the demand of the skin. All these things are indriya adheshu. These are indriya vishayas. Indriyadheshu vairagyam viragaha. Don't you worry, it's all right. It's all right. Matras parshastu kaunteya. There are for us Bhagavad Vakyas at every stage of our debates in life. In see, matras parshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkhadah. Agama payinaha. Anityaha. These are non-permanent. Don't you worry that these are going to be permanent. If the Grishma Ritu is very scorching, don't you worry. It will give space for the Varsha Ritu, which is like a comfortable Ritu compared to the Grishma Ritu. Don't you worry. Grishma Ritu is required in the plan of Bhagavan's Srishti. Why Grishma Ritu is required? Because on the earth, all kinds of germs and worms must be removed before the farmers sow their seeds for the crops to come up. And without that, these germs and worms will eat away the seeds. There will not be any crop, no harvesting, and no food. So all these things are in the perfect scheme of things of Bhagavan. Indriyadeshu vairagyam. With all these kind of inputs in the mind, whenever you are in difficulty, you gather that Bhagavad Vakyam and gain a lot of support and gain a lot of courage. Yes, I will cross this difficult period of life. Indriyadeshu vairagyam anahankara evacha. Anahankara evacha. Don't you think that you are the only one doing this? Konyosti sadrusho maya. We will get that in the 16th chapter, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Konyosti sadrusho maya. Who is equal to me? Iti, don't pride yourself unnecessarily. Anahankara evacha. Get rid of this ahankara, which is your stumbling block. It's a tremendous block. Get rid of that. Anahankara evacha. And you see the dosha in all these things. In Janma, what is the defect in Janma? Defect in Janma is what? Because you, who in the previous Janma have been striving for moksha, ayati shraddhayopeto yoga chalitamanasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kamgatim krishna gacchati was the question of Arjuna. What happens to that kind of a person who is not successful in his endeavor for moksham? What happens? Then Bhagavan says he will attain to Shuchinam
Shrimatam Gehe.
Exactly. Yeah. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashtaha Abhijayate. And what is the defect in the Janma? That Yoga Bhrashtatvam is the defect. I was not successful in the earlier Janma. Because of that, this Janma became inevitable. So there is a kind of a defect. You perceive that. Anudarshanam. You perceive that. Then Mrityu. Mrityu, what is the defect? Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tatha deha antara praptihi dhiraha tatra namukhyati. In the Mrityu is not an end for the travel of the jiva. Jiva will take to another body. Tatha dehat anyaha notanaha bhavaha. Another body he will take to. Vasam sejirnani yatha vihaya. This body in which I am dwelling, this has become dilapidated. This is costing a lot of money for repairs, a lot of effort on my part, and I'm not happy with this. I would better have another body. Vasam sejirnani yatha vihaya. Anybody who can think like that, he will never be afraid of death. I would better have another body. This body is very, very useless. This has been going to the garage a number of times without any fruitful end. Every time I spend a lot of money in the garages. What are the garages? The hospitals. When I go to the hospitals, they charge a lot. And without my knowledge, they as though discover some great malfunctions in other limbs of my body. I have gone with a headache and they have treated me for stomachache. All kinds of things they will discover. And this kind of a body I don't want to carry any longer. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunnhati naroparani. I want a new body. Iti kopi manyeta, whoever thinks like that, he will never be scared of death. Janma, mrityu. So in the mrityu also there is a defect. Janma, mrityu, jara. Jara is what? Old age. What is the defect in the old age? You are not able to be mobile yourself. Jara. And why did this come? Because I have not taken care of my body when I was young. I did not prepare for this old age adequately. So the defect is because of me. Not only that, this jara is non-everlasting. It is transitory in nature. This jara will give way to mrityu, and that is welcome. Jara, vyadhi, same thing, disease. In old age, some disease. When I was young, I used to have the wherewithal to withstand some disease here and there. And when in old age, the capacity to withstand the vagaries of disease, the capacity has dwindled, and I am unable to, when I have a lot of phlegm in my body, I am unable to even cough. When such is the case, why carry this body? Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha. And when I am afflicted with jara and this vyadhi, it does not give me happiness. It is dukkha. It is sorrow. And this sorrow is transitory again. And this sorrow will continue till I gain the liberation through mrityu. Dosha anudarshanam. This kind of a thing, the dosha anudarshanam. Anukshana darshanam. Anytime there is any afflicting influence on you, think of Bhagavan. Think of Bhagavan's teaching. Think of what Kitaya said, what kind of tonics he has prescribed. Take those tonics. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam, asaktihi, anabhishvangaha, putradara, gruhadishu. I'm sorry, I did not read that taparya. I'll read that for you and go to this. Dispassion with reference to the sense objects. Okay, with reference to sense objects. What was said in Sanskrit? Indriyadheshu vairagyam. You must get that Sanskrit without seeing that. Indriyadheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam. Dispassion with reference to the sense objects, and indeed absence of pride, and seeing clearly the defects of pain in birth, death, old age, and disease. Defects of pain. Defects of pain in birth, pain. Oh, defects of pain, that dukkha, that pain is here. That dukkha is pain. That dukkha, defects of pain in birth, death, old age, and disease, there is dukkha, anudarshanam. Then asaktihi, anabhishvangaha, putra, dara, gruhadishu, nityam cha samachittatvam, ishta, anishta, upapattishu. This is inevitable. Things which you like will happen. Things which you are not happy with, they will also happen. Ishta, anishta, upapattishu. Asaktihi, absence of ownership. Asaktihi, that is no attachment to that. Asaktihi means. Asaktihi, with reference to what? Anabhishvangaha, absence of excessive affection. Putra, dara, gruhadishu, regarding son, wife, house, property, etc. All these things, for these, putra, dara, gruhadishu, putra is son, dara is wife, gruha is house, the property, adishu, that is, etc. So many things. It may be the farmlands that you have acquired. It may be the name and fame. It may be the extremely sound bank balance. All these things will come under that Adishu, Putradara Gruhadishu. What do you have to have? Asaktihi in respect of Putradara Gruhadishu, Asaktihi, absence of ownership. You have 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter. Are they yours or are they given to you? Are they yours or are they given to you? They are children of Bhagavan, and you are the trustee on behalf of Bhagavan for taking care of the children. You are the trustee. Bhagavan, with tremendous confidence in you, he has handed over the 3 children for you to take care of them. So where is the ownership for you? Asakti is very natural. If you can think of those norms with which Bhagavan has made you the trustee for the children, then absence of ownership is very, very easy. Then anabhishvangaha, absence of excessive affection. You must love your wife and children immensely, and you must be aware that you must be doing this for the sake of what? Bhagavan, for the sake of Bhagavat Anugraha. What is that Bhagavat Anugraha? Bhagavan has made you the trustee. Be a very good trustee. Like the trustee in the temples. Take very good care of the temple. The temple does not belong to you. Neither does the deity in the temple. The deity in the temple is Bhagavan. And the temple you are taking care of as trustee will include your Dara, your Putra, your Gruha, all these things. But you have to take care of them wonderfully well. And this wonderfully well, to the best of your ability, okay? Once in a while, even exceeding your best of abilities also, for the benefit of the Dara and Putra Gruhadishu, you must excel, okay? Whenever you are tired also, even then think of Bhagavan, how extremely tired Bhagavan was driving Partha's chariot. All arrows used to first visit Bhagavan and then go to Partha. In spite of it, though he was extremely tired, he has never protested. He has never protested, except in one case. On the 4th day, I think, of the Drona Parva, Bhagavan kind of pleaded with Arjuna, hey Arjuna, the horses are very, very tired. And a lot of arrows have gone into their bodies. And they require a lot of water. They require a little food also. Can you please provide for this? In the middle of the battle, and Arjuna was battling home, he was battling the entire Kuru opposition because he has vowed to eliminate Jayadratha that day. On that day only, Bhagavan Krishna, as though pleaded with Arjuna that the horses were tired. He did not say he was tired. And Arjuna did magnificently well, which we will cover maybe some other day. Arjuna does magnificently well on that day. And that was a tremendous surprise to the enemy forces that Arjuna could do this. Okay, Putradara Gruhadishu Asaktihi Anabhishvangaha. Anabhishvangaha is recognizing your duties, being very loving, being very, very caring. All these things you must do in respect of your son, wife, house, etc. All the time knowing that you are only a trustee for them. Your wife is not yours, given to you by Bhagavan for you to be the trustee in respect of her well-being. Same thing with your children, same thing with the house. Then with that bhavana, you conduct yourself. Nityam cha samachittatvam, always. This samachittatvam is being hammered by Bhagavan every time. Nityam cha samachittattvam, always have the samatva bhavana. Ishta anishta upapattishu. Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labho jaya ajayo tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. That was the Prabodha in the second chapter. All along, Bhagavan has been saying this. Samasyatrau cha mitrecha tadamana pamana yoho shitoshna sukadukkeshu samaha sanga vibhajyataha tulya ninda stutir mauni santushtaha yena kenachit. All this Bhagavan has been desirous that all of us gain this samatva bhavana. Samatchittatvam ishta anishta upapattishu. Absence of ownership, absence of excessive affection regarding son, wife, and house, and always evenness of mind regarding gain of desirable and undesirable. Ishta anishta upapattishu. We will cover this ground tomorrow. We will cover this verse again tomorrow, and then from verse 9 we'll start and go forward. And on the way, if there are any questions, we'll attend to them also. Hari Om, everybody. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 He. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Nanaji.
Hari Om, Nana. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Nanaji.